Good evening. Prayers at Bodh Gaya the day after the blast. Prayers for peace, prayers against terrorism. You're watching the Buck Stops here and I'm Barkha Dutt. On the program this evening, it's now confirmed that there were 13 blasts at Bodh Gaya. 10 of them exploded, 3 were defused. At the moment, there are no clear leads, but there's a huge debate going on over whether specific intelligence warnings were ignored. And even before the dust can settle, the politics have kicked in. On the program today, we'll be asking whether our national security discourse is dangerously politicized and how far removed that is from the images you see on your screen of monks praying for peace. Also coming up on the program, Rajnath Singh, BJP party president, he now wants the National Investigation Agency to explain its contradictions in the Ishrat Jahan case.
एनआईए को भी इंटरेस्ट करना चाहिए। कसाब के मामले में एनआईए जो कहती है वो सही है, लेकिन इशरत जहां के बारे में एनआईए जो कहती है वो हियर से है। क्या तमाशा हो रहा है?
Also coming up later on the program, there may have been complaints of 17 encounters in Gujarat, but fake encounters are nothing new to India. Tonight from Punjab, the story of the Punjab police officer who says he's single-handedly responsible for eliminating 30 to 40 people.
खुद पुलिस मुलाजम ने अब ये कबूल कर लिया है कि ऐसा हुआ है। पहले हम लोग इसे सच समझते थे, पर हमारी बात पे कौन विश्वास करता। आज हमें उनकी बयान से हमें यकीन हो गया है कि ये सच है, कि गलत हुआ और गलत एनकाउंटर होके कई नौजवानों को और कई घरों को उजाड़ा गया।
All right, let's get started now with our top story. There are details coming in that paint a very grim picture of what happened at Bodh Gaya over the weekend. We now know that there were 13 different blasts. 3 of them were defused, 10 exploded. 1 person has died and a political war has already broken out between the Congress and the BJP. Some of the details of these blasts and how they were planned is truly extraordinary. We now know that a bomb was planted. One of the bombs was actually planted on a 20-feet-high Buddha statue. You have to ask how it got there and how nobody noticed. The Delhi police claims that it had given a specific intelligence warning. The question is, were these specific intelligence inputs ignored, or were they too generalized in nature to act on? And of course, even before the dust settles, politics has taken over. In fact, on the program today, we're asking whether our national security discourse is dangerously politicized. Take a look at 2 of these comments that have come from 2 of the major national parties. That's Rajiv Pratap Rudy on your screen. Rajiv Pratap Rudy says, within 2 weeks of the BJP-JDU breaking up, law and order has become very bad. In other words, the exit of the BJP has somehow changed the law and order situation of the country, according to Mr. Rudy. Then you have a provocative set of statements coming in from Digvijay Singh, always provocative, of course. He's saying on his Twitter page, and let me read this out to you. Amit Shah promises a grand temple at Ayodhya. Modi asks Bihar BJP workers to teach Nitish a lesson. The next day, there are bomb blasts at the Mahabodhi temple. Is there a connect? Digvijay Singh, of course, goes on to say, I don't know. Let the NIA complete its investigation. On the Buck Stops here today, our special debate tonight. From the Ishrat Jahan encounter to the Bodh Gaya blasts. Are we just witnessing a petty politics that is hurting our national security? In fact, is our national security discourse dangerously politicized? Is it leaving us more vulnerable as a country? And let's get straight now to the political punch. Why has our security discourse been so overtaken by politics? Is it inevitable? Does it come in a sense with the turf? After all, in other countries too, take the United States of America, for example, the Democrats and the Republicans never really necessarily agreed on a security paradigm. Ideology can create a very different definition of nationalism, but should we be seeing the kind of politics we are seeing in the last week or so, especially after the blast in Bodh Gaya? Let's introduce a panel this evening. With us in the studio, all our 3 guests are in the studio. Digvijay Singh, General Secretary of the Congress. From the BJP, Nirmala Sitharaman, spokesperson and leader of the BJP. And Shekhar Gupta, Editor-in-Chief of the Indian Express. Nirmala, let me start with you. Rajiv Pratap Rudy's statement. Within 2 weeks of the BJP-JDU breakup, law and order in Bihar has become very bad. I mean, should the breakup of an alliance create such a dramatic change in the law and order situation? Is Rudy actually suggesting that if the alliance had still been alive, these blasts would not have taken place? Is this not a supremely irresponsible statement? And I'm not saying the Congress did not make its own share of irresponsible statements, and we'll come to those. Do you acknowledge that Rudy made a completely needless statement here?
Well, it is a fact that in the last few days or last 1 week, you've had firing in Betia, about which Sushil Kumar Modi,
Yeah.
Former Deputy Chief Minister of Bihar, is sitting on a 24-hour fast. Then you've had lynching of a young man in Jamui, also within the last 10 days. Thirdly, you've had, which is important to mention, a young girl's hand being chopped off, also in Bihar.
But are you saying these incidents
So-
did not happen when the alliance was
No, the
together,
fact
or was
remains.
still alive?
No, the fact remains that the alliance is a milestone that we are talking about, post which you've had these instances. So Rudy is correct in pointing out that these instances have happened, and law and order then, during the alliance, and even now after the alliance, is still a subject which is being held
Should
by
the
the
BJP
Chief
have been
Minister.
calling a bandh today? What
So-
does a bandh have to do with bomb blasts?
It is a way in which you are highlighting and drawing the attention of the people that something is wrong in the state and about which we are protesting.